Leon Thomas, Asaya Falls and Brent Faiyaz all use those bouncy, catchy samples. Let me show you how to turn some simple bass notes into a beautiful R&B sample. One of the most important parts of their production is that catchy bass line, with songs like Diva and Mutt. Most producers may think these are extremely complex to make, but luckily I've dug into the techniques that their producers use, and trust me, they're easier than you can imagine. For this type of sample, I think it's best to start with the bass, which I think you should try because it doesn't limit you to any chord progressions or melody. Even Brent's main producer Deepak started with a bass on What You Heard.
This was the bass line that I just played on bass.
For the bass, I started with a one shot from my kit. Using slide notes can give that bass that natural pitch bend. Then I layered a second bass, but this time with a higher tone, EQing out the lows and highs to blend them together. And this is what you should do to stop your sounds being muddy. And once I had that bass down, I knew I wanted to give that sample some fullness. So I paired an electric keys with a pad, both creating their own little top lines. For the keys, I added this little half step melody, which gives it that little bit of R&B tension. And I drowned these both in plate reverb, and that just turned them into a nice atmosphere texture. Because the bass is creating that rhythm, we don't want a load of instruments overcrowding it and ruining its presence. And these producers do this by adding subtle textures. So how do we do this? A cool trick used by Leon Thomas is exporting the pad, pitching it up, running it through plugins like a crystallizer, distortion, and spring reverb to make a texture like this. I'll show you later in this video how you can easily add texture to level up your samples, but we can also use pads in different ways. So I found this pad that sounded like a saw, added portal, flanger, and reverb, and paired it with some pitch bending automation. To give that higher end shine, add in some chimes. Next, I wanted to add some guitar chords. How do we give them that R&B sound? And that's by using a wah pedal. And this is really key with these type of samples. But myself, I use the Waves plugin. My other favorites are Guitar Rig Auto Filter, the Corey Wong. It's essentially just a bandpass sweeping filter. But for this layer, I just added 2 basic chords. I added these 2 guitar riffs. Adding these little accents can give the sample that little moment and is what really can level up your samples. Are you a producer that's like me, sending out tons of samples and collaborating with other producers? And that's where DistroKid comes in. You can add all your collaborators, set the exact amount of splits, and everyone gets paid fairly. So if you're working with an artist, they make it super easy to upload your music to all streaming platforms. And the best part is you keep 100% of all your earnings. And hit that link down below and you'll grab yourself a 7% off your first year subscription. Now we have a great foundation for the sample. We want to add those melodic little textures. Pairing them with some Echo Boy and Portal creates something like this. Then I found these bird noise textures and degraded the sample rate with decimal, then run it through a reverb with 15-second decay. But you're probably thinking, won't that amount of reverb ruin the mix? No, because the trick I used here is making it completely mono and EQing out most of the highs. Then I added some percussion to add rhythm and bounce. So I recorded myself making some mouth clicking noise and using a dynamic EQ to really take out that harshness. Then I just added some swells and chimes that fit in perfect. For the next section, I wanted to add some vocals. So I found these vocals and chopped them up. I pitched them down and sped them up to give them vibrato. And I actually used 2 different reverbs on this. First, it gives that boxiness, so it feels like it's in a small room. Then I added a plate reverb, which gives it that width. And I actually used 2 different delays. And again, why? First is just a normal echo delay. And the second is delaying the pitch 12 semitones up. And I did this to create this automation towards the end of the bars. And that gives it a nice transition into the next part. Then to add some more subtle texture, I added this piano repeat in the same note. Then I ran it through Portal and halftime. It actually made every note sound unique. Then lastly, I just added 2 string layers, which really brings the sample together. Then together, it all sounds like this.